guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. If you'll take a moment, if you are new here, to click subscribe and the like button. If you enjoyed today's video, I am out of touch because this is only my second, I think, video that I am doing since, I think, October, because yeah, this has been a wonderful year for filming, latter half of this year, I should say, of filming. But anywho, I am unhauling the rest of my books that I had on my bookcase of the Self-Destruct of 2022. These are books that I have not picked up this year, have no intention or interest in picking up this year or any of the past years that they've been on. Some of these have been on there for multiple years, and I've not wanted to pick them up and read them. Some I've picked up, didn't finish, didn't have an interest, or it bored me so much that I DNF'd them. So, yeah. Or it wasn't the season, or anyways, for whatever reason, I ended up not finishing. Alright, so let's get into the several books that I no longer have and I have decluttered as the year went on. I have some that I still need to haul off to my free little library in town. It is very, very cold today, so I didn't get there. We are finally on Christmas break. Records low, I think, from the last decade. It only got up to, I think, 15 degrees today, which in Georgia, here in the U.S., is very unheard of for us. And it's only going to drop lower as it comes night. Yeah. Anywho. Alright. Fun facts. But anyways, what you came here for are the books that I'm finally getting rid of. I have, I think, there's one that needs to go back to my mom. There are a few from a book box that I think I'll actually be able to get to. They're like the most recent books that I have before getting rid of the last book box service that I have. So I'm not ready to give those books up, but that is 9 books total, and I'm okay with keeping those last 9 books because I think they'll work with the Romance-opoly readathon that I'm going to do next year, because there's a couple of kind of romance mysteries from Nora Roberts over there that I think I'll actually be able to pick up now that I'm not so overwhelmed with books from all these other things that I was doing when I started my BookTube channel. And I'm being more selective of the books that I do bring in now and all of those things. And I have my Kindle Unlimited, I have the Scribd subscription service, and all of those things that if I need a book, that I can get a book from there. Anywho, I'm rambling because I'm not used to filming anymore. Anyways, reverse back down, but I've, like I said, cleared out my bookshelf for my new books for the upcoming year. Trying to keep that under control so I'm not mass overloaded with books again. That was my whole point of that whole ramble. Alright, so the last remaining ones that I'm getting rid of, except for those 9 books over there. Yeah. Alright. First up, Cassandra Clare's book, City of Bones. I've heard mixed things. I know it's a ginormous time commitment. I didn't realize when I picked up the book that it was going to be such a huge time investment. I knew there was quite a few books in this series, but then how you have to go about reading it. You read a few books in this one, then you flip to another series, then you come back to this, and it's just... I don't have that kind of mental capacity or time commitment or mental faculties right now to put into that type of series. Maybe one day when I retire. But right now, I can barely read one book during this working hours now, much less a series of that nature. Sad, 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 but true. And I'm really going to have to take a really hard look at my reading schedule for next year because that worries me, which is also why I've not been filming since October. Is 1, I've been sick. 2, I've not had the time to read because of my work schedule. The next book, again, came from one of my book boxes. This is The Possession by Michael Rutger. Never picked it up. I think I started or put it on a TBR. Never ended up picking it up with that TBR. Have no desire to pick it up off the TBR. Kind of sounds interesting, but not enough to actually read it. So it's going bye-bye. Did pick this one up. Didn't read much out of it. The King of the Road by R.S. Belcher. Got bored. Put it down. Never picked it back up. Over a year, I believe. Half a year to a year. Why do I keep these books? I don't know. It's time to give them new homes. The Synapse Sequence by Danny Godfrey. It's been over there at least 6 months or longer. Never picked it up. Not going to. The only reason this one's going is because I have the hardback books. Finally read the series. Not as good as Throne of Glass series. Decent. Throne of Glass is still my favorite. Controversial, probably. But this one needs to go because I already have the other set. That's the only reason. And eventually I may, I don't know how many times I'm going to reread that series. Don't know yet. I've made my peace. I'm going to give this back to my mom because I think that's who I got this from. So I'm not getting rid of it to like my free little library unless she doesn't want it back. Then I will. He's not an author for me. I've wanted him to be. He's not. And this is Insomnia by Stephen King. This was supposed to have been a buddy read with my Discord group. And me and my friend Wendy, we were reading it. Even with an audiobook. I felt my eyes rolling to the back of my head. I just couldn't. Sad. He's just not for me anymore. I liked him when I was younger. Maybe I had better attention span then for this style of writing then versus what I have now. Yeah, let's go. Gonna redonate this back to the free little library. This is Karen Slaughter's Beyond Reach. Got it. Put it in for a horror. I think one of my horror bingos. Never got to it. Don't really have desire to. What can I tell you? Came in, or actually I bought it when because I've got to be careful, and I'm getting better at watching my booktubers when they do these like eBay hauls and other things, when they do these hauls of books, mystery boxes, whatever. That's where this one came from, and quite a few other books. And I have found some good books, don't get me wrong. But it also leaves me with other books that are part of a series that are middle of the series, or first book, or the second or third book. You get what I'm going now. But then I'm not really interested in half of the books or more than half the books. Then I'm left with a big mess. Yeah. I'm not doing that anymore. I've learned my lessons. Only did that once. I think only once, maybe twice. Done with that. Yeah. But this came from that. This is The Last Vampire, and I love vampire books. This is by Patricia Rosemore and Mark Poletti. Never picked it up in over a year. Another Stephen King book. The Dark Half, going back to my mom. The Shining, classic Stephen King. Back to my mom. She's definitely Stephen King. Guess where I got that love for it? Yeah. the fifth wave. I think I've had it at least 2 years, 3 years, something like that. 2 to 3 years. I picked it up once. It's by Rick Yancey. These books are from that same eBay haul. This is Shadows in the Darkness by Elaine Cunningham. I think this was like the urban fantasy style books. A Drop of Red, a vampire book by Chris Marie Green. Stones Unturned. Again, this is by Christopher Golden and Thomas E. Steingoski. And another book added by the same two duo that I just told, Crashing Paradise, so a duo out of that series. Never picked them up in over the year plus that I've had them. I bought this, I think, at the Books A Million, The Night Stalker. Never ended up reading it. Murder mystery. Got it for a bargain price, less than $5. Well over a year, because I don't go to that one very often. Never read it. The Graveyard Shift by Michael E. Haspel. At least 6 months or longer. Again, this is kind of a fantasy Egyptian style myth for vampires, I think. Never read it. Don't have a desire to pick it up. Every time I look at the shelf, I bypass it for something else. Kind of the same tune for all of these books. The Face Faker's Game by Chandler J. Birch. I think this is more sci-fi, but not the type of sci-fi that I like. So it's moving on. This was, I think, one of the last horror books that I got from the My Thrill Club box. This was The Cosmetology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. And I've never been into it, and it's survived several different declutters, but not this one. So, all of these books, either I'm going to ask my mom if she wants, like I said, the Stephen King books, because I don't know if they were hers or my stepfather's. Going to ask them if she wants them back. If the answer is no, of course, then they will go to the free little library where all the others will be donated, or to my local Goodwill. One place or the other will receive all of these good books. They're all in great condition. Not been written in by me because I've not picked them up. I keep any books that I annotate, which are few and far between, because again, you can't give out books that you've been annotated. But yeah, it feels good to get through these books and to clean out. So I'm getting ready for the new year and getting my priority books that I want to make sure I do focus on for the new year and have a space for those books to inhabit so that I stay fresh in my mind and all of the good things. So, yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, this unhauling of all the books that have been cluttering up my life and that I did not end up reading this year, and that knowing that they're going to go to a good home eventually as people find them. And until my next video, you guys, happy reading.